The Ashanti Region Police Command is investigating the murder of a 45-year-old Chinese national last Thursday dawn at a mine site at Mansuabori in the Amansia West District, where remains of the deceased Wang Zhengming, which were deposited at the morgue of the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, have since been cremated at the Old Tafo Cemetery in Kumasi. The Chinese community in Ghana is, however, demanding justice and has so far set aside a 5,000 Ghana cedi reward for anyone who helps with information leading to the arrest of his murderers. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has a lot more on the story.
At about 4:30 a.m. on the day of the incident, police said they received a distress call on the murder at Akufrom near Abori and rushed to the scene. Manson Kwanta District Police Commander ASP Thomas Bedupoku said upon reaching the scene, the body of the deceased was found lying on the ground with blood oozing from his neck. The police conveyed the body to the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital morgue for preservation and autopsy awaiting cremation. ASP Thomas Bedupoku added that 6 Ghanaians who had been working with the deceased had all been arrested as suspects to assist the police in investigation. Cousin of the deceased, Monica Wei, who is also a delegate of the Guangxi Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, said the murder is a big blow. The Chinese community in Ghana are collaborating with the police with a 5,000 cedi reward for anyone who helps with information leading to the arrest of the murderers. Remains of the deceased Wang Zhengming have since been cremated following strict Chinese customs.
We now turn our attention to all election issues, and if you want to get interactive with us on our social media pages, make sure you use the hashtag ElectionHQ. The National Security and the Electoral Commission have advised or supervised the distraction of templates used for the printing of ballot papers for this year's elections for all constituencies in the Greater Accra as well as the Volta regions. In Olin Ghana Limited, the company contracted to print the election material set them on fire at Agbogbloshie here in Accra on Thursday. It's all part of a process to eliminate any possibility of the templates being used to print extra ballots that could be used to compromise the integrity of the polls. The distraction was witnessed by various stakeholders after concerns were raised by some political parties about the printing process. Head of Marketing at InnoLink, Michael Quatson, explained what the distraction entailed.
After defacing the plate here, we've already placed the wastage in the van there. Then after that, the BNI, the National Security, the police, UC official, party reps, NDC, NPP, PNC, CPP, those available here, were accompanying the van in a convoy to Agbogbloshie behind ICGC. It will be burnt there. Then after burning, when they are all satisfied everything is burnt, then we issue out a certificate of destruction. Then they all sign, then append their signature and date on it. Then we disperse, then we are over.
And Mr. Quatson assured there will be better communication with stakeholders, including the political parties, to clear any doubt about the process going forward.
Helping our competitor because he was challenged with the baking machine that we helped. Their party reps were there when the chairperson of the EC came around, asked questions. It was clear that they are not alleging that we took a presidential ballot plate outside. The issue is that what was taken out, they didn't know. They were asking questions, and the question has been answered. That what we took out was a notice of proof. But for hindsight, be looking at the intensity of the election, at the next time round, we informed them that this is what we are doing for party, this company A or company B.
Meanwhile, local printers say there is a significant slowdown in election-related businesses this year relative to the previous election seasons. And there's the blame on a number of factors, including the general challenging economic situation, as well as the decision by some clients to take their large-scale contract abroad. Joy Business Emmanuel Ajay has more in this report.
I just decided to come to the hub of printing in the capital city, and that is Accra Newtown, and I find myself at NA Advertising Company Limited to ascertain what exactly it is like for them this election season. Is it business as usual or it's below expectation? As you can see behind me here, ongoing is the printing of some political party posters. You can see there that for the ruling NDC and that of the opposition NPP also being printed out. In election seasons, political actors spend on campaign items such as posters, t-shirts, as well as customized party paraphernalia like pens and handkerchiefs, among others. NA Advertising Company Limited does digital printing, and the general manager, Kenneth Jokoto, shed some light on their business in such political seasons.
Well, the size is A3, it costs 1 cedi 40 pesos. Times 2 of this, which is A2, which costs 2 cedi 80 pesos. And we have A4, which costs 70 pesos. So basically, that's what the size they normally do.
I can see that you are doing the printing for both NDC and MPP.
Yeah.
How did you secure such contract?
You know, when you're canvassing for jobs, it's not easy because we are in this business. A lot of people are into it. So sometimes you need to have friends in the party before you can secure jobs.
So I take it that, I mean, once you are printing NDC and MPP, you have friends in both parties.
You need to. Sometimes we have clients who canvas for the jobs and they bring it printed for them.
Players of the print industry have over the years cashed in on such campaign spending. The operators, however, say the story is different this election year. The chief executive of Abacus Digital Media, Kojo Owari Ahinkra, explains they had high hopes this year, but have been dashed because of the general challenging economic environment.
A lot of the aspiring MPs and parties who want to do something look at the cost. And few friends I've contacted in both parties are saying that the funding this year is a bit difficult. So they have to find ways of cutting costs. So because we realize that posters and flyers and stuff like that, the inputs are a bit expensive. Paper is imported. Our inks are imported. And then energy is also a problem. When you are running your jobs and then light goes off, you have to use diesel and all that. So our costs have also gone up.
The local printers are also unhappy. Their clients now take the large-scale contracts outside the country to their disadvantage.
As you can see, this is the quantity we are printing. Compared to previous years, this is the worst season that we are having.
How exactly? How different?
Price-wise, it's the same. We have not changed our prices. But with the printing, it's bad because last 4 years, we could print maybe Prince Bahama alone more than 20,000. Likewise, Akufo-Addo TS.
But how much is this year's own?
This year is less.
They also cite the advent of social media as a major factor contributing to the relative slowdown in their business this election year.
So when you give a cost for posters, and it's a lot, maybe instead of printing 100,000 posters, they can cut it to about 30,000. That's about 30% drop. And then they'll find other ways of sending out their message just to cut down costs. You know, leading up to the election this year, both parties were very vigorous in their arguments and their proposals and their promises. And because of that, we thought that there would be a very vigorous campaign, and then we'll also get a rise in our business.
The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has refuted findings of an anti-corruption coalition research that it has shown some bias against opposition parties in its reportage of the electioneering. The findings of the report conducted by the Anti-Corruption Coalition revealed 5 of 6 state media outlets, the Ghana Television, Mirror, the Ghanaian Times, the Daily Graphic and Unique FM, have not been fair in their reportage to the parties. The coalition made up of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, the Citizens Movement Against Corruption and the Center for Democratic Development conducted the monitoring of abuse of incumbency all between June and August this year. Coalition member Adam Senanu explained that the study assessed appearance, number of stories, the quality of access to political parties and their candidates, and time given to the parties on the platforms.
Generally, the information provided to the public by the state media platforms for the period June to August 2016 was biased. And was biased simply because some political parties were given more airtime and print space than others, and not necessarily because individuals in these state media platforms are biased. I think we want to make a distinction. It happens that what has gone out there, because some people had more time or more space, more mentions, more appearances, the eventual result has been biased because of the system. Not necessarily meaning that some of the individuals there have a calculated intent to bias the information. That distinction must be made. That's the first point. Now, it's also important for us as a coalition to make a few proposals. We are aware that GBC needs to survive and be sustainable. We are aware that other state media platforms need that type of leverage. But to be compliant with our constitution and to provide fair opportunities by ensuring equal access, there are 5 things we think are important. We think that during that period, please go back, during the period of election campaigning, the commercial interest component of the state-owned media must be put aside. Because there's no other way that providing equal access can be achieved if we are going to still take money from some of the parties and then give them more time or space. It just won't work. So the first recommendation we have is that for that period, state-owned media platforms cannot pursue a commercial interest once the political campaign season commences. We think that targets for extending equal space and time to the various political parties must be set internally by these various platforms so that they are implemented and monitored, and you can be sure that the constitutional obligation is being met.
And the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation says it is not to be blamed, and Deputy Director of News at GTV, Johnny Aite, has a lot more explanations.
All the political parties and candidates know exactly what they've got to do to be able to assess us. And then just to let you know, every candidate, every party has a team like the president. We have tried as much as possible, given the ruling of 1993. But you see, there's this other side that we all lose sight of. If we give you the airtime, the opportunity, and everything else to take advantage of, and you don't, we can't organize the event for you. As we speak now, there's one candidate that has never made a call on us. We keep calling, they tell you they are coming. What can we do? I'm sure the next monitoring report is going to show that GBC didn't cover one particular party or candidate. It's not our fault. When it's your turn to appear and the producer gets in touch with you and you don't show up, we don't blame GBC. Because some of the parties really are not in a position to take advantage of the programming or the opportunities offered in local dialects. They don't have the capacity or the human resource to be able to do that. That's not GBC's problem. We've given it to you. If you don't take it, additionally, we also have free airtime available to other parties. They know.
And General Secretary of the governing NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has refuted claims the party is engaging in tribal politics by highlighting the fact that President Mahama is of northern extraction. According to him, the NDC is rather highlighting its social democratic orientation, that it does not discriminate against any persons in the country, irrespective of their background. And all this contrary to what he says is practiced by the opposition MPP, which he believes they like classes, family orientation and languages spoken. He said this at the separate rallies held in communities of Genting, Bankorogo and Binde, all in the Yonyo constituency at the start of his 3-day campaign tour of the northern region. Mr. Esiedun Ketia told the people the NDC have brought dignity and respect to rural people like them, and also urged them to choose President Mahama to lead the country in the next elections.
A presidential candidate, or the others within NDC did not think that because he's a can, they shouldn't vote for him. They all voted for him. And in fact, he had his highest vote from the northern sector. and he wasn't a Northerner. Then, when Professor Mills expired, we chose a Northerner, President Dramani Mahama, who is the president. We didn't say that Northerners end at running mates or vice president. We think that we are equally Ghanaians, and if somebody has operated as a vice president, he is more qualified to be president than anybody else. So we made him president, and we are fighting to get him his second term as a president. So you see, when we talk about NDC's respect for every Ghanaian and NDC's respect for Northerners, Evers, Fantes, Akans, and everybody equally, people want to construe it as if we are doing tribal politics. We are not doing tribal politics. We are not saying vote for President Mahama because he's a Northerner. Because you were voting for NDC even when our flag bearer and the running mate were serverless. You still voted for us. President Rawlings' system, didn't he win all the Northern sector votes? It is because of the way NDC dignifies everybody in Ghana, including the Northerners. When it comes to registration, and you happen to find yourself outside the Northern sector, and you want to go and register,
And that's it for the news this morning. We have a lot more of the news stories and would want to share some of them with you. But many of you also have been sending, just for the last few minutes, a lot more messages through our interactive platform on WhatsApp. 0560 800,000 is the number.